Can y'all hear me? I don't know why this thing is just coming on the screen. All right, I think y'all can hear me now. Yeah, sometimes it be like that. My phone won't connect to the StreamYard volume. It be like that sometimes. Shit, I went to sleep at like 4 or 5 o'clock today. Too many Negroes came over yesterday, boy. I went, boy, look here, I was tired. Got up, cleaned up the backyard, did a little pressure washing. Then the kid was tired. So now a brother starving like Marvin. Mm-hmm. Make me a little something, something. Nacho Chicho Cap, man. He act like he was coming over today. But nah, Nacho, I was tired, boy. You would have been coming over here for Nathan. You would have been coming over here for Nathan, boy. I'm on these good waters. I'm hungry. Nah, I got to get some Swagger Dash in a minute. Happy New Year, Miss Spitfire. Swagger Dash come later. My stomach coming first. Oh, you did come over? Man, I was knocked out, boy. I couldn't do it. I don't know what time you came over. Yeah, I damn sure don't know what time came over. But I gotta make me something to eat, boy. I slept through dinner. I woke up hungrier than a baby Bengal wolf. I said, I can't eat this popcorn all day. So I got me some striped bass. I'm gonna, put in that peanut oil and pan sear something real quick. I woke up, my daughter in there on the phone. I said, what the? It wasn't no little boy. It was one of her little homegirl. They on FaceTime. So that's her BFF. I took the phone, made her go to bed. Her little homegirl called back. She said, why you leave the conversation? I said, because she got to go to bed and you should go to bed too, young lady. Goddamn 11 o'clock. What the hell y'all talking about? Man. Hey. Hey, y'all. This goddamn on runaway junkie, boy. They done changed the live from that chat crazy over there, boy. They love Kwame Brown, boy. They going from a 24-hour scream about Kwame Brown now to a 48-hour scream about Kwame Brown. And I'm flattered, man. God, anybody that much of a fan, I go back and listen to every word I've ever said. Boy, that's yes, Lord. I mean, that's crazy, man. I wonder if I still get views for that, all the lives they're looking at. That's crazy. I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life, boy. But I'm flattered. I mean, they're in a circle of love now. They over there hugging each other. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing, boy. 34-31, Ole Miss over the Bulldog. Boy, I got to call my homeboy and talk that shit. I'm damn so finna call my homeboy and talk trash. Yeah, but after this fish, I might have to go get me a Rello. And I'm going to have me a little, swagger ass session. But player got to eat right now. Hey, but those of you that's over there watching me for that long, man, what you don't do, I appreciate y'all. It's a new year, man. Thank y'all. It's a new year, but you're still watching Kwame, man. That's beautiful, man. It's been years you guys been riding out with me. Good, Kwame, the takeover was live. Man, no takeover slander over here, man. You got to get timed out for that. No takeover slander over here, man. Yeah, we don't do that. Yeah, man, I understand you like my channel. That's cool. Thank you. But you don't got to slander the takeover just because of that. Come on, man. My boy, what's good? What's up with it? Man, listen here, boy. I was tired, boy. Not your, man, everything your fault, man. You come over here, I got tipsy off that Camus, and then y'all left me to clean everything up. And now I'm on my goddamn on second liter of water since I woke up. Shit. I make sure, boy. Goodness gracious. I gotta make sure. We went through 2 bottles of cane. You ain't know Negroes ain't supposed to be there? Man, I cleaned everything from top to bottom, man. You supposed to see. I gotta put the pressure washer on. You left your Gigi bottle over here. Man, left a Gigi bottle over here, man. I think I finally found somebody to put this damn air diffuser in early in the morning. And hopefully they keep their word. And then we'll have nice, sweet smelling air permeating throughout the whole house. Yeah, it's not your fault, man. Nacho sit up here and got me tore up. I think I'm gonna drink one more water after this tonight. Shoot, boy. That goddamn Camus is good. But that shit knocked me out, boy. That's the difference between drinking wine and liquor. You drink that wine, you're gonna go to sleep. You're gonna turn up, you're gonna go to sleep. You drink that hard liquor, you're gonna be fueled by Remy or fueled by Hennessy. I don't want to be fueled by that, huh? D. Santana, what's up? You got a headache? No LeBron talk, thank God. Now it is. I mean, you literally just brought up LeBron. Ain't say nothing about LeBron. Another crazy. I told y'all, this is why they don't go over to tell Sonny. They keep coming over here checking every black content creator and mentioning LeBron to him. Nobody said this man's name until you said it. It's fucking weird. It's like that. It's their favorite pastime. God, dog. This shit is crazy, B. Crazy. What's my opinion on Floyd being broke? I don't have no opinion on it. They've been saying Floyd was broke how many years now? And he pop out with another bin, pop out with a new house. Floyd broke should be a different type of broke. So I don't know. Let's just hope he's still a different type of broke. But do y'all see all these Somalis, daycare centers and all this stuff, man? This stuff is crazy. But we're going to get to something positive first. Hey, we're going to get to something positive and then we're going to switch it. And then we're going to get to something negative. But I want y'all to see something positive first. You know what I mean? And then before we go to bed, we're going to get something positive. Because them jokers that's over there, what they doing, goodness gracious. But in 2026, they're saying you can get a little tax break. So let's check it out.
Break for business expenses in 2026. We love that. People who use their cars for work will be able to deduct more money per mile on their taxes. And that's just one of the notable changes coming down the line. We're going to bring in the expert, Taylor Riggs, co-host of the Big Money Show on Fox Business. Taylor, you were giving me a mini education here as we were getting ready for this. And we've got a couple things to point out. Obviously, we talked about the mileage rate going up. That's kind of more of a thing that happens anyway. But when we look at Big Beautiful Bill, we look at the tax reform that happened under there. One of the big ones is the standard deduction. Yeah. I'd love for you to break that down for us.
So I love this. So back in the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the standard deduction was doubled from 12 to 24,000.
Yeah.
The good news is, since the Big Beautiful Bill law has now sort of extended that, went from 70% of Americans to now 90% of Americans that use the standard deduction, which is good that now all of this is going back up. Married, filing jointly, now up to 32,000. So there are good incentives to just standardize your deduction. They eliminated a lot of the individual deductions to make it easier for Americans and easier for the IRS. So it's good that this is going up. Now, part of you would say, okay, but inflation's also gone up.
Exactly.
Wages have gone up. So yes, part of this is the IRS just keeping up with wages. But again, really good. I think take advantage of every deduction that you can. We all pay too much in taxes as it is. Keep what you can in your pocket.
Yeah, those standard deductions work really good for people like myself that get a little bit too disorganized to itemize.
Yeah.
Those were marginal increments, but they did go up. Is that a year over year? Will we see them go up next year and the next year?
We hope. Again, because you track inflation and every year the IRS can look at what's changed. But I like that they're going up because, again, you think about, we were just talking about the Minnesota fraud thing. How much of our taxpayer money is not being wasted? Every American right now is trying to hold on to as much money.
And what she's saying is correct. Man, look at this dude, man. Look at this dude, man. Let's block this nigga, bro. I don't think I wanted you to promote that over here. Yeah, let's block him. Yeah, go do your 24-hour live, but don't promote it over here. All right? Man, this striped sea bass is off the chain. The junkie is doing a live trying to promote it over here. Wow. The nerve of these people. But you definitely want to get all the tax deductions that you can. Anything that you can write off, gas, food, anything. Because, like she said, look at what the Somalians, look at what they're doing to our tax dollars.
As they can. So all of these business deductions, you mentioned the car deduction, for example, the gas mileage deduction, all of that, I encourage you to talk to your tax professional or go on the easy website where you can do it to make sure that you're keeping as much of your own money as you can and it's not going to fraud, waste, and abuse.
So it's not just federal taxes. States have done some things to help folks out as well.
Okay, so I have some good news for you, including your Georgia.
There we go.
8 or 9 states, I believe, starting today are actually starting to cut your income taxes.
There we go.
I'm calling this the race to zero, right? I don't think I have much luck in that in New York City, but in your state of Georgia, right, you're going tax rates in some cases low as 0, maybe 4.25% to 4%, all the way down to 3%. So these are individual states recognizing if I lower income taxes, will you come to my state and work here and build a business here?
Yeah, the proof's in the pudding. Look at Texas, Tennessee, Florida, places that don't have income tax are doing so well right now. You know, we have the big, beautiful bill. It's all going into effect. President Trump.
So people say, why does this make sense, Kwame? Why does this make any sense? Because people trying to keep their money in their pocket because of this right here. I saw this. I said, dang, this is daycares? I'm talking about just buildings with tint on their windows. And these devilish, racist white men, that's what they say. I don't know. I don't know these people from Adam. It just looked like they're asking questions of me. But one of the ladies said, I'm scared of your skin. I said, what? I said, hold up. You scared of his skin? And why are there so many Somalian daycare centers? I thought the women over in Somalia don't work and they stay home. How is there so many Somalian daycare centers? What are the women doing? Are they paying them to watch their own kid? But why is it specifically Somalian daycare centers? Is it black daycare centers? Is it white daycare centers? Is it Mexican daycare centers? They have their own daycare centers? That's crazy. Dog, we're not even mentioning Brian and Brian. What are you doing? Jesus Christ.
Where the money's going.
I love the way this shit started off. Where the money going? Slam.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
Get your white ass over here.
What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
A bombshell viral video purports to have cracked open a crucial part of the alleged Somali aid scheme in Minnesota.
Fair use, fair use. Man, those Somalis ain't messing around. They slamming that door on your ass so quick. Man, they messing up that paper. I know those Somalians want to swing on this dude. He messed up the paper.
Federal investigators say as much as $9 billion could have been stolen in fraudulent schemes within the state. The aftermath has since garnered intense backlash aimed at state leadership, with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz desperately defending himself against ever-growing allegations. Here's everything you need to know. On December 26th, YouTuber Nick Shirley shared a 42-minute video of himself and a Minnesotan named David traveling around Minneapolis and visiting multiple child care and learning sites allegedly owned by Somali immigrants and receiving millions in taxpayer dollars.
1.604 million in fiscal year 2025. This place right here.
However, the pair discovered that many were either shuttered entirely with blacked out windows, despite signage indicating they were open, or were helmed by staff who refused to participate in the video.
Can I speak to a manager?
Most of the sites, which claimed to be licensed for dozens of children each, had no children inside whatsoever. Which claimed to be licensed for dozens of children each, had no children.
What the hell child been in there? That shit look like it don't got no windows. It don't got no playground. Who would want to send that kid there? Where's the code and the standard that you got to have for the playground and the gate and all that shit? This is wow. I thought they got to pull themselves up by the bootstrap. Now, hey, guys, how come they keep telling us to pull ourselves up by the bootstrap? But the Somalians, the Indians, and everybody else come over here, and boy, they get pulled up by our government tax dollars. That's what it looked like. Every other race of people come over here. We like, yeah, this is a country of immigrants. And they get pulled up not by their bootstrap, but they get pulled up by our tax dollars, and then they get to turn right back around and say, look, how come we came over here and made it, black people? Because you took tax dollars and government funded, and it's easy for you to make it. This is crazy.
Inside whatsoever.
Can you tell us why there are no children? Have you ever seen children at this child care center?
Doesn't know if she's ever seen a child here.
One infamous location called Quality Learning Center, which displays a misspelled sign reading Quality Leering Center, also features blacked out windows. The center is supposed to account for 99 children.
Hold on. Excuse me, come again, say what? Wait a minute. Let me go back. You telling me they didn't even take the time to spell it right? Oh my God. Right on the side of the building. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that's bold, boy. Listen here, we don't give a hey, them people is not even trying to even make the grift stick. This bold right here, boy. This is bold. They must have got the government in their pocket. Nobody thought to tell them, hey, look, if you want to make sure that this look right and appropriate, at least go take this sign down and spell learning the right way. Because this kids that we at least are trying to attract here. And if y'all mother truckers can't spell learning, why would we bring our kids here again? So this is automatically a red flag.
Center also features blacked out windows. The center is supposed to account for 99 children. However, a local resident of 8 years revealed he's never seen a child go in or out of the building.
Where are the children?
I don't see them. I've been here since 2017. I haven't seen anybody like that.
Never seen a child here.
No.
Shirley even asked multiple sites if he would be able to have his child join, only to be denied at the door.
Can I get paperwork or anything to submit my son, little Joey, to come in here to daycare? Would my son, little...
Boy, she looked them up and down, looked to the right, like, hell no, you ain't bringing your son here. Oh, man. Look how she look at her. White man, if you don't get, I've been scared. White man, if you don't try to get the hell away from this door so you don't mess up this money, I know something. Look at her. Boy, you better be careful, dude, pulling up on these Somalians messing up their money. That don't look like she very inviting right there. Now, see, I got a resting fucked up face too. Like if I'm not smiling, my face looks like I'm ready to snap, and I'm really just chilling. You know, I just have an ugly resting face or a weird looking resting face, I guess. I don't know. But when I'm just not smiling or I'm not talking, people be like, you all right? I'm like, yeah. I need to hold a mirror up, see how ugly I am when I'm not smiling or something. I don't know. But this right here, man, it look like she want to slap the living you know what out of him. But you definitely not bringing your kids here, white man.
my son, little Joey, to come in here to daycare? Would my son, little Joey, have friends to play with here? No.
Damn, your son ain't gonna have no kids to play with here.
The mega viral video has since spread like wildfire on social media, garnering over 100 million views on X alone. On Fox News' The Big Weekend Show, Shirley joked that the alleged scheme was so obvious that a kindergartner could figure out there was fraud going on.
So there better be change because, like I said, we work way too hard to be paying taxes. We work way too hard to be not knowing where our money's going. And at the end of the day, people in government, they work for us. We don't work for them. And so it's their responsibility to hold these people accountable.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has since faced intense scrutiny over the alleged fraud. Republican Minnesota Representative Tom Emmer wrote on X, $4 million of hard-earned tax dollars going to an education center that can't even spell learning correctly. Care to explain this one, Tim Walz? While New York Representative Mike Lawler called for people to be arrested and prosecuted, as well as for Walz to be held accountable for the scandal. In a statement to Fox News, a spokesperson for Tim Walz said, the governor has worked for years to crack down on fraud and asked the state legislature for more authority to take aggressive action. He has strengthened oversight, including launching investigations into these specific facilities, one of which was already closed. However, a resurfaced clip shows that Walz openly bragged about making it easier for people to get into the childcare business during the 2024 vice presidential debate.
As far as childcare on this, you have to take it at both the supply and the demand side. And we have to make it easier for folks to be able to get into that business and then to make sure that folks are able to pay for that. We were able to do it in Minnesota, and I'm still telling you this.
Walz's state of
So he ran on doing easier daycares in Minnesota. And it actually turned out they're robbing the whole city blind. Goodness gracious. Yeah, this make me want to move to Minnesota and run the bag up. Yeah, all the Somalians doing it. Dang. Tim Walz, this didn't age well for you, buddy. All these soft, never mind. Shut up, Kwame.
During the 2024 vice presidential debate.
As far as childcare on this, you have to take it at both the supply and the demand side. And we have to make it easier for folks to be able to get into that business and then to make sure that folks are able to pay for that. We were able to do it in Minnesota, and I'm still telling you this.
Walz's state of Minnesota has been plagued by several high-profile fraud scandals in recent years, the largest being the Feeding Our Future scheme, in which 78 scammers, many of whom are from Somalia, have been prosecuted in the COVID-era food relief program scam. The ploy, according to prosecutors, involved funneling money from state social services coffers, including at the Department of Human Services and Department of Education, to the nonprofit Feeding Our Future and other organizations to ostensibly feed school children. Instead, the plot used the funds to splurge on the lavish lifestyles of the nonprofit's workers. According to Minnesota education officials, Feeding Our Future and its affiliated groups submitted over $500 million in claims, while federal authorities estimate that the extent of the rampant fraud could total $9 billion. The DOJ has already convicted at least 57 fraudsters in the scheme. On Monday, the DOJ estimate that the extent of the rampant fraud could total $9 billion.
The extent of the fraud could total, excuse me, come again, $9 billion. Tim Walz, you let Somalians come over here and get $9 billion of our tax dollar. And they talking about pull yourself up by the bootstrap. That's fucking crazy. What in the $9 billion over in daycares? Man, how many kids they got? Man, golly. Imagine why so much inflation with our tax dollars going to Somalians, Indians, Mexicans, anybody who just come across the border illegally. Oh my God, that's crazy. $9 billion in Minnesota alone. Imagine that on a large scale. You just look at all of these cities that are sanctuary cities. Just look at how much fraud and abuse they allow.
In recent years, the largest being the Feeding Our Future scheme, in which 78 scammers, many of whom are from Somalia, have been prosecuted in the COVID-era food relief program scam. The ploy, according to prosecutors, involved funneling money from state social services coffers, including at the Department of Human Services and Department of Education, to the nonprofit Feeding Our Future and other organizations to ostensibly feed school children. Instead, the plot used the funds to splurge on the lavish lifestyles of the nonprofit's workers. According to Minnesota education officials, Feeding Our Future and its affiliated groups submitted over $500 million in claims, while federal authorities estimate that the extent of the rampant fraud could total $9 billion. The DOJ has already convicted at least 57 fraudsters in the scheme. On Monday, December 29th, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem announced in an X post that DHS would be going, quote, door to door to suspected fraud sites in Minneapolis before vowing more coming.
They had zero.
I don't believe that DHS is going to be going door to door. I don't believe it. KB, you saw anything about Drake and 18 and AK? No, what happened? I'll Google it. I'll look it up. 0 children. They had 0 children in the building. Buying up communities with monopoly money in real life. Sheesh. Man, I swear, like, that's crazy, man. They give these people the money to buy up their communities. And then guess what? Black folks, we get pushed down the ladder even more. And then people look at us like, hey, why did you come over here and can't make it? Look at this group. They came from this third world country. And they didn't have running water. And now they're millionaires in America. And you be like, how the hell did that happen? Are these people geniuses or something? But I guess it is genius to make the very same people that you actually don't like to pay you to be here.
Children. Every time I went by there, they never had a single child there. And then I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver. And between the two of these childcare centers, they're pulling in about $3 million a year, and there are no children. Every facility.
Man, you gotta love these type of white people. This boy ain't sleep, he's slurring and sniffing. Man, this man got a doggone live going on about me and still over here. This is some next level stalkerish shit. The dude live sucks so bad. He's over here on my live while he's live. That's amazing. Enjoy the show, man. We know your show ain't nothing but me anyway, so enjoy the show. Let me get me another Snickers bar. Enjoy the show, junkie. But no facility had any children in it. And man, I want my goddamn daycare back now. If you could just I guess I ain't Somali. $3 million, no kids in the daycare. How many kids do these daycares have? Like, that's crazy. How many kids do these daycares have where the government is stepping in paying $3 million?
As you go to, the windows will be blocked out, so you can't see in. There's nobody here.
So right now, they're all getting mad because he's showing the paperwork of this business, being registered as a business. 74 children, no children.
Let me ask you a simple question. If a daycare is licensed for 70 kids, where are the kids? Because in Minnesota right now, which is ridiculous, despite all of the attention this state has been getting, there are still daycare centers getting millions of dollars from taxpayers with no kids inside. There's no noise, there's no toys, no staff, just locked doors and blacked out windows. Now, here's the crazy part of all this. Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, says that this fraud problem is being handled. He said that the attorney general, they're all on it.
I'm the one that's fixing it. I'm the one putting these guys in jail. And I'm the one that you're starting to see this progress is making a difference.
But an investigative journalist by the name of Nick Sher-
You also are the one that gave them the damn money. So don't sit up here and try to, you caused the problem. You created the problem that you're trying to clean up now. But now you want the credit that you cleaned it up. You literally created this problem. You caused this oil spill, and now that you cleaned it up, you want us to say thank you? Not gonna happen. This is sad. And whoever this guy is, we need more people like this. Question everything. This is what America used to be about. We didn't have a bunch of college kids that just went along and go along to get along. We had college kids that went, got educated, and they questioned authority. They questioned everything they saw. And in those questions, they got answers that some people didn't want those answers to be, those things to be answered. And look what happened. This one investigative journalist decided to go around and see if these things were legit. And now it's a firestorm of people about to go to jail. So we need people that's going to do real journalism and not just go along with what the mainstream media is telling us. If you just listen to what the mainstream media tell you, then these are just companies that are running smooth, and thank God for the government.
Really went down there recently, same buildings, same businesses, same checks, same fraud. Let's get into it.
Why can't I check out the daycare? Okay, but can I get paperwork or anything to submit my son, little Joey, to come in here to daycare?
Nick Shirley is a conservative YouTuber and political commentator. He is known for the man on the street interviews, walking right up to people in the public spaces, protests, political events, and asking uncomfortable questions. So he's on the ground. He is pulling up at these addresses and knocking on doors. And now he is investigating the Minnesota fraud situation. He's doing what the state should have done years ago. The link to the full video will be in the description box below. So let's look at the fact that there's just no kids ever.
This man said, I'm doing my research on you and watching you like a hawk. Good. Go back to watching. Time your dumb ass out. This boy here is stupid, man. Go back to watching. All right. We don't need you over here. Go back to watching. Boy, here is a clown. I swear to God, these people don't have a life. We know one thing you're not doing, which is taking care of that woman. You're too busy worried about a man. And it's kind of getting weird. You're not doing any journalism. You just worried about a man all day.
Center. We're asking where the children are at.
Don't ask me anything.
We're not accusing you. We're asking the daycare centers.
I'm not going to answer. There's a child care not far from here in Minneapolis that has two child cares listed at the same address. And together they're licensed supposedly for 120 children.
So this isn't very complicated here, right? I mean, this is why this entire fraud is collapsing, because there's so much attention to it. This isn't accountant tricks. This is basic reality. If you're licensed for 80 kids and there's 0 kids inside, that is not an accident. That's fraud. Governor Tim Walz has publicly said this problem is being addressed. He said that the state is aware of the fraud and safeguards are being put in place, and this situation won't be allowed to continue.
Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't.
Man, this dude is a clown. She asked you, did you take responsibility for allowing this to happen in your state? You talking about you take responsibility for putting people in jail. You also put this program together to make it easier for them to even pull this off. So you can't just act like you can pat yourself on the back. Salute to you, Oliver. Thanks, KB, for this live. Yeah, salute, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's why I'm throwing the junkie out. I don't feel like keep talking to you, boy. Keep coming over here trying to interrupt my live. So we're not talking about none of that stupid stuff. So stay over there. Watch me like a hawk from California. I don't know how you watch somebody like a hawk from California. You just getting high and making up stuff, son. And it's okay. I done been high before too. But sometimes you got to drink some water and don't be high. All right? But message. But let's keep going.
Get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can.
So this raised a very simple question. How is this still happening after weeks of press coverage? National attention is on this situation. How are these?
That's nuts. Leary Center. Learine Center. That is crazy. Tim Walz, right there on the building. This is what soft leadership look like. This is exactly what soft leadership look like. You just set up shop. You ain't even got to spell it right and just rob people blind.
Same facility still open? How are the same checks being cut? How are businesses with no children still collecting taxpayer money?
Have you ever seen children at that daycare center right there? Yeah, it's right there. It says the child, you've never seen daycare.
I haven't seen anybody yet.
So what do you think about this daycare center? They spelled learning wrong. They've received over $1.9 million this year alone, and they're supposed to have 99 children here.
I don't see it.
Have you ever seen any children here?
None at all. None.
Because once something like this is exposed, the bare minimum response is to freeze payments and verify services. Clearly, that didn't happen, which means either the fixes are just cosmetic, the oversight just has no teeth in the game, or the system is moving so slowly that the fraudsters are still cashing in while politicians hold press conferences.
Or it may be more sinister than that. Or these politicians are getting kickbacks off of being around these Somalians. They might be getting kickbacks from these centers. Why wouldn't they stop this immediately? I mean, this is cut and dry that there's no kids there. These centers look like, I wouldn't send my kid to near one of them centers. It just looked like front buildings that are just there to hold a space. They didn't even try. Leering Center. It's just like a building they slap a sign on so they can have an address, and then the checks come rolling in. And in order for this to pass so easily, it got to be some level of corruption, if you ask me, in order for it to pass so easily, in order for them to be so brazen with this type of, no minimal effort. They didn't even spell the goddamn sign right. So it's not like they're trying to hide it. They got to be getting some sort of assistance if you're not that concerned at all with someone finding out. And if it wasn't for this guy coming in there meddling in their business, I know they mad as I don't know what, that this would have never stopped. We need real journalism to come back, real people that are investigating real stories that impact everyone, not just a group of people that don't like somebody, like this runaway cowboy junkie. Got 30 people that's hurt. A dry lip 1999 boss, 30 people that's hurt, all in a circle of hurt and pain. That's different than it affecting everybody in Minnesota. All of their tax dollars are being taken from them, and that's not cool.
The state knows what's going on. These payments should stop immediately, but they didn't.
Try to get in, rang the doorbell, nobody showed up. They're open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. it says here on their sign, yet there's absolutely nobody here. And this building here, right here, has...
Boy, god dang. Boy, you know how much money that facility is making? If they're alleging that their hours are at to 10 p.m., 7 to 10 p.m., they're billing the government at that long of a rate. I mean, I don't know what their rate is, but that many hours? 7 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night. Ooh, they making some money. Got to be more careful. They want to kill Nick like they did Charlie Kirk. They can't handle facts, evidence. Man, so this guy's name is Nick. Man, y'all better go. Y'all better go check these daycare centers out.
10 p.m. it says here on their sign, yet rang the doorbell, nobody showed up. They're open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. it says here on their sign, yet there's absolutely nobody here. And this building here, right here, has generated millions of dollars, and it seems like business isn't even open right now, and it's a weekday.
So you look at this, middle of the day, weekday, doors locked. The place is supposed to be caring for kids right now. You should be hearing the laughter and play and the screaming of children, but nothing's happening. Think about how ridiculous that sounds. If you dropped off your kid at a daycare and saw this, you'll probably call the police and not write them a check. There's no playground, no staff, no kids running around, no backpacks, no strollers, no parents coming and going. Just silence. And yet, if you are a resident of Minnesota, millions of your tax dollars is being given to these types of locations. This is the equivalent of a restaurant getting paid for serving hundreds of meals a day while the kitchen is closed, the lights are off, and the doors are locked. And we're supposed to believe that this is normal. At this point, we are way past just mistakes. This is either total incompetence or willful blindness, where no one wants to look too close.
I'm going to go with willful blindness. I'm going to agree with you. I think it's willful blindness, because there's some sort of benefit at the end of the day. People don't do this type of stuff for no reason. These are front businesses that you can have plausible deniability. You can say it looked like a real business, and you let that money go flow through them, and it somehow just comes back. Somehow Somalians will probably donate to some campaign at some point, They'll have some luncheon or dinner or public speaking. Somehow that money is going to come back to where it doesn't, look like they did anything wrong. I need to be a politician, boy. These politicians going straight to the bank.
Because the money is already flowing into some very powerful people's bank accounts.
These buildings should be operating as they're receiving literally millions of dollars.
I knocked on the door, and to my surprise, somebody actually answered the door.
Hello? Can we speak? I would like to check a child in the daycare. Can I speak to a manager?
Wait a minute. He said, I'd like to put a child in a daycare. And she said, why? Oh, shit. Hey, yeah, they need some better customer service Somalians. At least the ones that can go up there and lie. She said, why? Why the hell you want to put a kid in daycare? What? Man, this is amazing. Happy New Year, Kwame in the chat. Salute to you. Foxy Shade, salute to you. Appreciate it. Man, that's crazy. Happy New Year to you. Man, oh my God. I got to hear that again. Can I roll my kid in daycare? Why?
Somebody actually answered the door.
Hello? Can we speak?
Hey, why is this door looking like this? First of all, I'm not bringing my kid and putting them inside where they're trying to block and obstruct the scene of the door. Like, why can't I see in there and see that it's a nice area that you sit down? Excuse me. A nice little waiting room. Like, why is the door looking like that? It's like they're purposely putting paint on the door. Like, heck nah. I'm not taking my kid in there. It's like a jail cell, a dungeon. Well, not a jail cell, but
I would like to check a child in the daycare. Can I speak to a manager?
Oh, why? Try later.
Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I want to put my son Joey in daycare.
And after a few questions, the lady went silent.
And the most ridiculous part, this is happening after everything. This should have been stopped a long time ago.
This one is different because, according to the state of Minnesota, this 312 West Lake Street houses not one, not two, but three child care centers and is licensed to hold 102 children.
So right here we have 2 child daycare centers. We have the Minnesota Child Care Center, and then we also have Nuna. Between the two, 2.66 million. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Why are you flooding?
Yes. We would like to know.
Well, it says we're trying to figure out 102 children. Is that for this facility?
What's the name? Why is it?
It's from the state of Minnesota website. Where are the children? It says you have 102 children here, and you got $2.66 million this year in funding.
We'd like to ask where the money's going.
He slammed that goddamn door so quick. Yeah, you're supposed to have 106 kids. It says you got 2.66 million. They started talking that money talk. Them motherfuckers, oh shit, cold red police, come on. Boy, they slammed that door. The moment they mentioned that paper, the moment they mentioned this 2.66, that lady pulled that arm back so quick. She was listening at first. Yeah, what do you want? You looking for who? Yeah, okay. What else? Soon as they mentioned $2.66 million, she slammed that goddamn door. Watch this.
And is licensed to hold 102 children.
So right here we have 2 child daycare centers. We have the Minnesota Child Care Center, and then we also have Nuna. Between the two, 2.66 million. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Why are you flooding?
Yes.
Yeah, they ain't like
we
them
would like to
cameras.
know.
Well, it says we're trying to figure out 102 children. Is that for this facility?
What's the name? Why is it?
It's from the state of Minnesota website. Where are the children? It says you have 102 children here, and you got $2.66 million this year in funding.
We'd like to ask where the money's going.
Hey, she entertained all the other questions. She entertained 106. Okay, yeah. State website. Okay, what you asking? Okay, yeah, they say you got 2.66. Bam! Boy, hold on. Say 2.66 again.
And you got $2.66 million this year in funding.
We'd like to ask
Conversation
where
over.
the money's going. Look at that. Shut us down.
I mean, this is insane. 2, sometimes 3 daycare businesses, same address, same building, all getting paid. Any normal person sees this would say, hey, there's something wrong here. That is why the U.S. attorney said that Minnesota has basically become a tourist attraction for fraud.
And this case is slightly different. This is an instance of what's essentially fraud tourism. Mr. Jefferson and Brown were residents of Philadelphia who had no connection to Minnesota, except for they heard that Minnesota and its Housing Stabilization Services program was easy money. And so they traveled to Minnesota, enrolled their companies in the Housing Stabilization Services Medicaid program here in Minnesota.
And honestly, he's not wrong. If you are a fraudster or a scammer looking around the country and asking, where can I set up shop, file paperwork, and get paid without doing anything, without anyone checking, Minnesota would be on the top of the list. I mean, look at the pattern. Same address, same people, same business models, and the money keeps flowing. Obviously, this did not happen by accident. Fraud goes where enforcement is weak. It goes where oversight is slow. It goes where consequences are rare. And when the word got out, when people see that others are getting away with it, more fraud follows. That's how you turn a problem into an industry. That's why some people are saying that there's potential billions of dollars being stolen. So why didn't the state catch this? Why didn't the governor's administration shut this down immediately? Does he think no one was going to check? Because either no one was checking or someone assumed someone else was. And when the government is moving like that, fraud doesn't just slip through the cracks. It sets up shop. Either way, taxpayers in Minnesota are losing.
There's one building that has 14 Somali healthcare companies at the same address.
Hey, y'all pray for these two men. Yeah, boy, if they stop the $9 billion pipeline, you gotta pray for these two gentlemen.
There's another building in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address. So there's false documentation being submitted to the state of Minnesota for services never provided. They're having forms signed in advance for services that were then never rendered. As far as a year or 2 years in advance, they'll have someone sign these forms at one sitting, and then they just file those with the state of Minnesota.
This isn't just daycare money. This is healthcare money. This is Medicaid money. 10, 15, 20 companies. Again, same building, same service. That's how you burn through billions of dollars very quickly. This is how Minnesota went from the surplus they had to a deficit. And somehow, looks like to this day, payments are still going.
Tim Walz saying there's organized crime in Minnesota. What did he do about it? Nothing. You got organized crime? What are you doing?
Sir, when are you going to hold Governor Walz? No. She is a representative for the state of Minnesota. Yes or no?
Excuse me?
Yes. Are you?
If you're going to talk to me like that,
are you the state? I'm a disability advocate.
I think what you heard today is that the Republicans who control this committee are not actually interested in solving fraud. What they're interested in is telling a story.
This fraud has happened underneath Democrat leader Tim Walz.
You know who runs Medicare?
He said that. She said they're not interested in solving crime. They're interested in telling the story. Whoa! They're not interested in solving crime. They're interested in telling the story. That was a cold bar.
President Trump. Medicaid fraud is a 50-state issue. And so, again, it is not a partisan issue.
And this, it just drives me crazy. That's why I do not like politicians at all. I'm not a big fan. They say fraud happens everywhere. This isn't partisan. We're working on it. Okay, but here's the problem. The fraud is happening right now. The businesses are still open. The checks are still going out. Leadership means that this bleeding should have stopped a long time ago, and it hasn't happened. But they're so desperate to not look racist in front of the press instead of directly handling this problem, going after the people who are committing the fraud. Is every single Somalian doing it? No. Who cares? Billions of dollars are being lost. Why are they so worried about how they look instead of actually solving the problem? Billions of dollars being lost by taxpayer money hurts every single Minnesotan, whether you're white or black, whether you came from Somalia or not. This is an epic, epic disaster. Governor Tim Walz's watch, this fraud is still happening. This is on him. He's either complicit or he's incompetent. Both will destroy the state of Minnesota. If a YouTuber can find this in one afternoon.
In my opinion, he's a complicit. And I think he's one of them nice, sensitive guys that he knew about this the whole time. He's been holding his wife saying, what do I do about it, honey? Yeah, this is crazy. This is the man you want running your city.
The state has no excuse. This isn't about race. This isn't even about politics. This is about missing kids, fake services, and real taxpayer money. Until these checks stop, nothing is fixed. You can check out Nick Shirley's video in full. I'll put the link in the description box below. This is an epic embarrassment for Tim Walz and administration. They're moving extremely slow, or they just don't give a damn. I don't know. This is terrible. I mean, how difficult is it to get someone from the administration to go to each of these locations, realize in the middle of the day where there should be kids, there's no kids, you cut off the service. Or you say, you know what, I'm coming back and there better be 70-something kids in here. Or whatever you have to do. For this still to be happening and checks still being put out shows that, again, Tim Walz should not be the governor of the state. Let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
I'm challenging. Appreciate it, homeboy. Y'all go sub up. Who is this? I just went and played this video. Who the hell is this guy? No, this is Hannibal the Hungry Guy. This is another video, but I don't want to play this video about Chicago. We got Waltz called to testify. Now, what do y'all think we're going to learn from Waltz? I don't think we're going to learn nothing. I really don't.
Breaking today, the House Oversight Committee announcing 2 blockbuster hearings on the Minnesota fraud scandal. State lawmakers who raised red flags years ago will testify on January 7th. A second hearing on February 10th could put Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison under oath. Chairman James Comer accusing both men of, quote, either being asleep at the wheel or complicit in the alleged schemes that drained taxpayer dollars from social services programs. Governor Walz's office fired back this morning saying, quote, we're always happy to work with Congress, though this committee has a track record of holding circuit.
Oh, if they would have if they would have won the election, it'd be Indians and Somalians in every goddamn neighborhood with liquor stores and daycare centers and locked buildings and call centers, and it'd be no jobs but for Americans, but it'll be a lot of government swell.
Hearings that have nothing to do with the issue at hand. President Trump, meanwhile, chiming in today as well, calling Waltz a, quote, crooked governor. Lisa Booth, this is a man that was within an inch of being, what, the vice president of the United States? This is Tim Waltz. And the fact that he's deflecting and pushing back and blaming President Trump, and this is all political, to me rings very hollow.
Well, yeah, can you imagine that Kamala Harris wasn't the worst part of the Democrats' 2021? Someone who blew past $1.5 billion in like 107 days to lose all 7 swing states, and somehow Tim Walz is the worst. I think he's worried about what investigators, both in Congress and federal investigators, are going to uncover about all this, and what Minnesota officials allowed to happen in their state, particularly Keith Ellison, who had a meeting with some of these fraudsters back in 2021. But I just want to make a broader note about immigration at large. I mean, President Trump in 2015 made the statement that other countries weren't sending their best. I mean, hello, this isn't an indictment of the entire Somali community, but we know that they played a large part in Minneapolis and Minnesota in all of this fraud. Or you can even look at someone like Congressman Ilhan Omar, who we took in with open arms, who was a refugee and settled here into the United States. And then about
who we need to send back to wherever she's from, because I think she's a pipeline for all of this. I think she got a chance to cackle and do all this black and brown talk, and they allowed her to get, we let the fox in the hen house, baby. Yeah, we done let the fox in the hen house, baby, so to speak. So we gotta do something about this. You can't have a fox in the hen house. Ili Oma is to me a parasite. We let the fox in the hen house, baby. Time for me some OJ.
9/11, she brushes it off and says some people did something, or has called America, one of the worst countries, or her net worth, according to the New York Post, mysteriously, grew exponentially. But this is also beyond Minnesota as well. I mean, even if you look at the COVID era funding, tens of billions of dollars were stolen in fraud. Or you can look at some of these, daycare and related programs in other states. We know millions of dollars were raided there as well. Yet Elon Musk was run out of Washington, D.C. for Doge, for trying to address some of these issues. And Republicans were attacked for trying to get some reforms.
I mean, come on now. Ma'am, you look at what you just said. You can't blame them for wanting to run out Elon Musk. And you can blame them for knocking out Big Ball. You're not telling me that wasn't targeted. You got this guy finding out all this fraud, waste, and abuse. And you think he's going to be met with open arms? People hate him. He's not going to be met with open arms. No. You out here messing up $10 billion of the bag. Come on, man. So, ma'am, I understand. You know, Elon Musk, it's going to be people that love him, and it's going to be a lot of people that hate him because look at what he did. I mean, it's good for some, but that's horrible for others, what Elon Musk found out.
We know millions of dollars were raided there as well. Yet Elon Musk was run out of Washington, D.C. for Doge for trying to address some of these issues, and Republicans were attacked for trying to get some reforms built in with a big, beautiful bill.
Well, you know, Paul, the question is now, where do we go from here? It's looking like, according to James Comer, from what we've heard this morning from his committee, it's going to be at the federal level. I had Senator Ron Johnson on Sunday Morning Futures, and he told me, he said, I got subpoena power. He said, I am absolutely going to use that power to get to the bottom of this, because do you really think that officials in Minnesota, the governor's office in Minnesota, is going to do anything about this? I mean, but listen to Caroline Leavitt, press secretary. She was on Fox and Friends this morning. Listen to what she said about what they plan to do about the fraud.
Since Nick Shirley's journalism really brought this issue further to light, we have surged resources across the board to the state. So I want your audience to understand this is a top priority for the administration.
Wait a minute. This dude is over here when we're not even talking about LeBron. Now I'm MAGA Kwame, and it says Fox News, hence news in the title. But because he doesn't like Fox News, it is no longer news. Did y'all hear these people, man? Like, he can go to sleep. Like, it's midnight. Like, go to sleep. But instead of him going to sleep, he's up here telling you what is news, what's not news. We ain't saying nothing about LeBron. But yeah, he's here. Man, this is amazing. I don't understand these guys. I'll never understand, buddy.
Department of Justice, as we speak, is continuing to execute search warrants and subpoenas. People will be in handcuffs as a result of the fraud that Governor Walz has allowed to occur for many, many years.
Criminality, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's funny. Walz now is saying, no, I've been on this. I've been enforcing. I've been all over this case. He's either complacent or complicit. There's no middle ground here, because Shirley went out and in one day found over $100 million in fraud. Leering Center, you couldn't see that much? I mean, come on. So what kind of an investigation was that? I want to go in a slightly different direction. Now, look, there's going to be hearings. They'll refer some cases. At the end of the day, they'll lock up.
I agree. Leering Center. What kind of investigation is that? I agree. I definitely agree. But they're going to lock up a few low-level people, pretend like that's the A-all, B-all, and call it a day. Yeah, they're going to lock up a few low levels. People who shouldn't have made the mistakes that they made. Whoever spelled that damn Leering Center instead of Learning Center, they're going to lock their ass up. They're going to lock up the person who spelled learning wrong, because they're going to be like, look, you the reason why all this started. So whoever spelled that sign wrong, they going to jail.
Low-hanging fruit. We won't get the money back, and that'll be the end of it. Here's the hidden metric we have. Treasury. Here's why. Treasury under FinCEN is the entity that controls and enforces the movement of money, like Western Union, MoneyGram, all of those things, but also the banks. None of this could have happened without a complicit money services bureau industry moving this money around to all the bad guys, but also overseas, which is what we're worried about. Why does that matter? Because not only do they have the ability to refer criminality to DOJ, they can button it up in a box and hand it to them, but they have the compliance power. Yeah. They can hit a bank, you know this, they hit a bank with a $1 billion fund. Why does that matter? Because if you start to do that, they'll stop. That's the only way to stop this thing. We know it's still going on. They'll hide under rocks. They'll figure a way around all measures. But if you stop the interlocutor, if you stop the middleman, this will finally go away. That's what you got to do. As the saying goes, follow the money.
We're talking $9 billion tip of the iceberg, Nicole. But I want to ask you about the FBI's role in this, because one former FBI agent said that the Medicaid fraud prevention fix that they're talking about here will not make any difference moving forward. You know, we can talk about money that's gone. I don't know if we get it back in a clawback like Paul is talking about, but How do you stop this from happening in the future?
And that's the important question. And I have to agree with that former FBI agent. I read the article this morning and I thought, you know what, he's actually right. And it's a little concerning. But again, I think it comes back to, you know, having worked in the FBI and seeing the fraud. I know this is alarming to Americans right now, but to me, I am sadly not shocked. In FBI Miami alone, we had 3 healthcare frauds. We were #1 in the country for healthcare fraud, stealing money from the government, basically. It is a nonstop effort. But again, look at everything that DOJ and FBI are faced with right now. Foreign terrorist organization groups, you know, fraud, mass shootings, you know, the violent crime. They are working tirelessly. But again, the important part to note is that there is no doubt in my mind. I know he mentioned the low-hanging fruit will be arrested. I hope that it's a lot more than just the low-hanging fruit. And I can tell you that there's a lot of tenacity at the FBI and DOJ about this right now. But these are complex investigations. They take a long time to work. I worked the first 4 years of my career was white collar.
Nuh-uh, JJ. You said got doggone. You don't wish jail on nobody, so you can't do that now, JJ. You don't wish jail on nobody. JJ showing that body. But you can't wish jail on nobody, JJ.
I mean, some of these investigations take over a year or more. Subpoenaing bank records, scheduling all the bank records, having your forensic accountant go through everything. Always follow the money. The bank records do not lie. And I sure know and hope that there will be accountability. I trust Caroline Leavitt when she says that there will be handcuffs. And again, you have to understand, DOJ was aware of some of this. There were former prosecutors involved under the Biden administration that turned a blind eye to this. They did not want to work these investigations because it did not fit the political narrative.
Of course, because Tim Walz was going to be the next vice president of the United States. But Tiffany, in Washington State, the attorney general there is already using this as a political tool and saying, don't you dare come to Washington State and look into our daycare centers. You might as well raise your hand and say, come on in and investigate me.
Right. It's like where there's smoke, there's fire. What's going on? Like, thanks for alerting us.
Weird how that happened.
Yeah. I mean, shocking. It's not just Minnesota. It's all over the country. It's California. It's Washington State, where our attorney general is defending the Somali community when there are allegations of fraud. It's interesting because 10% of the licensed child care facilities that are eligible for these subsidies are Somali run. And the overall state population is 0.2% are Somali. So many of these buildings also have no address. They cannot even provide an address. You know, whether it's in DC and you know, HUD just released their findings that they found billions of dollars went to 30,000 dead people. I mean, I was a fan of Elon and Doge. I defended them from day one because we needed political outsiders. We needed business people to come in. That's the only way this gets fixed.
Bring them back.
President
Bring
Trump's
them back.
leadership.
Bring them all back. That's what I said. Come on, Elon. We need
Yes, let's go.
All right.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-host Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube.
No, this is a shame. I think this is happening in every state. I don't think this is just Minnesota. I think that lady was right about that. Even though she was using it as a deflection tactic to not deal with what's going on in Minnesota. But I think this is going on all over. Oh, she said, I didn't wish. I said they deserve. Damn. But I think this is going on a lot more than what they're letting on. And the people that's just saying, you know what, let's see if CNN is talking about it. Because some people, man, they don't even watch a news organization unless it's the one they like. So let's see if a station that they like. Is talking about it. Oh, man. Okay, CNN is talking about it. Let's see. We want people to feel safe. We want them to feel comfortable. They allege that Fox is not real news, so CNN is talking about it. So let's see if the people who watch CNN can ingest this. Let's see how CNN frames this.
Says it is now withholding all federal child care funding to the entire state. The agency says the state receives $185 million for 19,000 children, and now that money will be gone. And the agency did not specify any alternate plans for families who will be affected. DHS and the FBI said they were surging resources to Minnesota to investigate what they called suspected fraud sites. This all comes in response to a viral video posted by a MAGA content creator. He claims that he uncovered widespread fraud by Somali-run child care centers in the state. CNN is looking into those claims and has not independently verified the accusations, but the Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services is taking the allegations at face value. Take a listen.
Intrepid journalists have made shocking and credible allegations of extensive fraud in Minnesota's child care programs. We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment.
However, the so-called evidence comes from a man.
So now the CNN pundit is saying, look, this is not, she's supposed to be unbiased. If it's waste fraud going on, you're supposed to want to look into it. So all the dude said was, before we make a payment, we're going to need a receipt. That's what any normal person would say. What is wrong with wanting a receipt? What is wrong with wanting proof of what you're saying? They just want photo evidence or something that shows that you are legit. Is that too much to ask?
Siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment.
However, the so-called evidence comes from a man who has posted anti-Muslim and anti-immigrant content in the past. CNN's Whitney Wild speaks to the man behind that video and takes a look at his claims.
We're from CNN. Can we talk to you? This is MAGA YouTuber Nick Shirley. Back at a daycare in Minnesota, he alleged was a fraudulent facility in a now viral video.
People are going to say this is a left or right issue, but no, fraud is fraud. And so I'm not out here trying to put a twist on things.
Shirley's viral video, released over the weekend, in which he says he's uncovering tens of millions of dollars in fraud at Minneapolis daycares run by the Somali community, was retweeted by Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. In the video, Shirley tries to open locked doors and talk to people at various daycares he claims are frauds.
Did you come during their normal operating hours when you came to visit?
I came at 11 a.m., I believe, and I also came the following day later in the day. The point of it is not whether or not I came at the right time of their operation hours. The point is that blacked out doors, they can't give you any information. You call that number, no one answers. I wasn't trying to go inside, and there should be a way for somebody to actually be able to call that number and somebody to be able to answer. These aren't real businesses.
But surely you don't think a daycare should just be unlocked. You shouldn't be able to just...
No, I knew they were going to try that angle. Surely you don't think a daycare should just be unlocked. Yeah, a daycare is open to the public. There's not one daycare now some daycares have the buzz lock system, but those are the daycares that you pay certain amounts for. They act as if every daycare center that you go into is locked, and it's not. But that's fine. If a man say he wants to sign up his kid, they usually don't ask why. They usually hit the unlock button. Even if it is a locked door, they would normally, if a man doesn't look threatening and it looks like they want to sign up a child, they would usually come in and talk to the person that's running the daycare and maybe get a pamphlet, because he did ask for a pamphlet too. It's crazy it took a 24-year-old to find the truth. Yeah, because he's the only one looking. Everybody else is acting like everything is everything. This 24-year-old is like a normal 24-year-old from back in the day. They're young. They're trying to experience life. They're questioning everything. That's how 24-year-olds used to be. Now there's not so many. So many of them are out just doing the same thing. But this is crazy. The man got the sign is on the door. She didn't even ask, hey, you do got a point. They didn't even spell the name right. She's just going against everything he's saying. Like, can you not put two and two together? He's calling it a fake business. The thing is spelled wrong. There's nobody in there. He wasn't menacing and stalking around the building. He's trying to sign up a kid.
Just walk into a daycare.
Be a reception.
No, every daycare is locked.
Their doors are locked. And so, okay, you bring up a fair point. Then why can't they actually give me information how to enroll a child?
Federal law enforcement has been investigating fraud in Minnesota for several years. Both Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel said on social media.
Look how CNN skipped that part. Why they can't give me information on how to enroll a child? Because if you're going to go with the angle of, hey, it's just not safe for everybody to walk into a daycare, cool, we'll give you that. But once that person asks for the enrollment papers, buzz them in. That's crazy.
They've indicted dozens of defendants. DHS has posted multiple videos of agents they say are conducting a massive fraud investigation.
Do you think that federal law enforcement hasn't done enough? I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children? They're receiving millions of dollars. We uncovered nearly $110 million in fraud in one day.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
We have talked about fraud. We have gotten stories. We've tried to push this forward every way that we can.
At the daycare where Shirley showed back up, a stream of children walk inside.
You're saying that this is a fraudulent daycare. There's kids being dropped off right now.
Yes, the commissioner of children literally said a week ago this place was closed.
Did you know
They're
that?
showing face right now.
A viral video, disputed claims, and their full fallout remains to be seen. Dozens of fraud cases that DOJ is touting began during the Biden administration. Back in 2022, the U.S. Attorney's Office for Minnesota announced 47 indictments for this massive fraud scheme. Since then, they've indicted more than 30 more people. And
He said, wow, they're doing everything to prove him wrong. Salute to you, bro. Yeah. They doing everything in their power to discredit and prove him wrong. Try to make him look silly. Hey, I mean, don't you want a daycare that's locked? Sure we do. But what about when we ask for the pamphlet? What about when we ask for the registration form? Are we told why? Are we told to go away? That don't make sense.
in total, they have secured at least 56 convictions. Whitney Wild, CNN, Minneapolis.
The group chat is back to talk about all of this right now. And Sarah, I want to go to you first. What do we know based on evidence about the alleged fraud in Minnesota and how legitimate and widespread it may be?
Well, I think a lot of people were very apt to believe Shirley's videos because we had indictments in 2022 when reporting first came out about this issue. It was David Fahrenthold, then at the Washington Post, who started to unravel all of these claims. The reason why I think Shirley's post has gone viral amongst some of the conservative community is because Minnesota is a politically convenient target, not just for the president, but for the party. Obviously, the governor there, Tim Walz, was the running mate to Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. Ilhan Omar has long been a foe of the president's. And you noted up top that the ICE immigration raids on Somalis it's been a priority for the president. So all of this collectively has made this story something that people want to gravitate to. And in addition to that, previous reporting that uncovered widespread fraud in Minnesota from years ago also makes people more apt to believe this, where I think a lot of folks in the media, including you mentioned CNN, which is looking to verify this video, are showing pause and trepidation around Shirley's reporting is just that making sure that it's actually very.
Exactly. It sounds like it's that Trump is doing something wrong. It's not that the Somalians are stealing the money from the government. It's the fact that Trump don't like Tim Walz. Trump don't like Ilhan Omar. So that's why this could be happening. That's why they could believe this story. Not that it's true. Not that there's some factual evidence to it. That's why they can believe this story, because Trump don't like these people. You know how Trump is. He the big angry guy who just want to, get payback and revenge, Even though if there was something to get payback and revenge for, then maybe we should look into that too. But, this is just payback. And this is what people want to hear on CNN.
verified that it's showing fraud in a similar way that we all evaluated the initial reporting that came out in 2022.
And Antoine, what does it say about the media landscape at this point when a YouTuber with an anti-immigrant past can post a video with scant evidence, we can say, that launches a federal surge into a state?
I think there are different types of media, and I think Sarah's right. Truth be told, there's been local reporting on this matter for years. In fact, there were 59 convictions under the Biden-Harris administration, as I understand it. And quite frankly, while there's a lot of attention on the Somalian community, there's a white woman by the name of Amy Locke who was convicted, I think, on several different charges, who was considered the ringleader of this. And many of these daycares have been shut down for other reasons.
Oh shit! Oh, you can't make this up. Oh my goodness, you cannot make this up. They have yet to touch on whether the possibility of this could be true and what it would mean if it is true. They don't even touch on that. They go straight to attack mode, straight to attack Trump, straight to god doggone blaming somebody else, and now straight to, oh, it was a white woman that's the leader of this shit now. It's so white. I'm a little bit embarrassed that he said that. I'm a little bit embarrassed that they brought a black man up here dressed in all these different colors. Why they couldn't get the white man to say, this is what, let him deal with his own people. Why he couldn't get the white man to say, hey, look here. And there's a white woman that's the leader of the Somalis. It was the leader of this. Can't trust no dude with no hair on their face. Pamper faces. Some of them, they lie.
On the Somalian community. There's a white woman by the name of Amy Locke who was convicted, I think, on several different charges, who was considered the ringleader of this. And many of these daycares have been shut down for other reasons, like their ability not to be able to operate properly in the state. I think the YouTuber video points to one of those who had already been shut down in the past. And quite frankly, I think that the governor has been hamstringed by the legislature for political reasons in order to do more. He was able to shut down the Housing Stabilization Fund, another accusation. So this has become politically convenient, and there's currency in this by this administration to make this a right-wing, red meat, racial talking point about the Somalians, and of course picking on Tim Walz. At the end of the day, I don't think anyone wants to run away from accountability, particularly Tim Walz, who's up for re-election in the state next year.
And also, we know, as we mentioned earlier, VP Vance, he retweeted Nick Shirley's video, and President Trump has also been stoking anti-Somali sentiment for a while. Let's listen to some of that.
Look at Minnesota, where Somalians have taken over the economics of the state and have stolen billions and billions of dollars.
And what's happening in Minnesota with Somalia, where billions of dollars is being stolen, right? Like candy from a baby.
So, Terry, I'll ask you, where is all this headed, do you think, now that we have this kind of like resurgence in reporting of the situation, and as well as the attention from the highest office in the land?
Well, I think it's a refreshing change from the Biden administration that was infiltrating Catholic organizations like the Knights of Columbus and classifying parents who spoke up at school board meetings as potential domestic terrorists. Look, this is old. This is, as I think I saw news stories and videos as far back as 2014, definitely 2018. These claims of fraud are verified. They are credible. They've been trying to do things here. And listen, I think that our justice system needs to be colorblind because we know that fraud is not, or I'm sorry, the fraud is colorblind. This is not about the Somalians. I think the reason that it's being focused on the Somalians is because they're the ones committing it. We took these people in as refugees, and it looks like there's billions and billions of dollars of scam. So hopefully we can get some convictions here and get some justice, because people need this money. People need help with daycare, and no one should be scammed of it, especially taxpayers.
Well, if I can just quickly add, keep in mind, Trump University was convicted for fraud, and I would also add that this president has pardoned those close to him who's had their own allegations of fraud. So we should keep that in mind. If we're going to be fraud, let's deal with fraud.
And we.
I see why people like CNN, boy, because they'll drop those Trump taglines in there.
Social media of investigators in Minneapolis inspecting what they say are suspected fraud sites, which include daycare centers. CNN law enforcement correspondent Whitney Wild is tracking this development for you. And Whitney, what prompted the Trump administration to escalate these investigations?
Well, it does seem to be in response to this viral video. Right now, what the FBI is saying, it is surging resources into Minnesota. This is just the latest chapter of this sprawling fraud investigation that began in 2022 and has led to more than 75 arrests. Many people are among the Somali community in Minnesota. The FBI Director Kash Patel, again, tweeting today, and it really seemed to be a reaction to this viral video by a YouTube personality named Nick Shirley, which now has more than 115 million views on X, and that number continues to grow. In the video, Shirley says that he's uncovering more fraudulent businesses in the Somali community. That 42-minute video was retweeted by Vice President J.D. Vance and Elon Musk. Director Patel said the FBI has been all over these cases, posting this on X. Even before the public conversation escalated online, the FBI had surged personnel and investigative resources to Minnesota to dismantle large-scale fraud schemes exploiting federal programs. In touting the arrests, Patel said that the FBI believes this is just the tip of a very large iceberg. In several posts Monday, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem tweeted that HSI agents are on the ground conducting a massive investigation into these suspected fraud sites, saying this: DHS is on the ground in Minneapolis, going door to door at suspected fraud sites, saying that the American people deserve.
Let me tell you, he got an icebox where his heart used to be. Hey, listen, man. If they're not being complicit on this, I don't know what is, man. This is absolutely crazy to me.
Answers on how their taxpayer money is being used and arrests when abuse is found. These fraud cases, Phil, have become a major political flashpoint for Republicans, and this has been going on for years. A state audit earlier this year, again, this was just one chapter in this story, a state audit earlier this year found that funds meant for frontline workers in Minneapolis were being scammed away, and Republicans and the administration have begun to target Somali migrants in that state. Today, in a statement to CNN, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's press office said the governor has worked for years to crack down on fraud and asked the state legislature for more authority to take aggressive action. He has strengthened oversight, including launching investigations into these specific facilities, one of which was already closed. He has hired an outside law firm to audit payments to high-risk programs. He's also shut down the Housing Stabilization Services Program entirely and announced a new statewide program integrity director and supported criminal prosecutions. Phil, this is the latest chapter. We have no indication this story is anywhere close to over. Attorney General Pam Bondi also tweeting that basically saying that this YouTuber, Nick Shirley, showed Americans how sprawling these cases are and that her office is continuing to work on them to try to root out as much fraud as they possibly can, Phil.
Yeah, certainly seems like a lot more to come. Whitney Wild, great reporting. Thanks so much.
This morning, the FBI and Homeland Security say they are surging resources to Minnesota to investigate claims of widespread fraud in the state. The federal crackdown comes just days after a YouTube creator posted a viral video boosted by Vice President J.D. Vance accusing Somali-run child care centers of taking money without actually caring for children. But critics say these accusations are being made without any actual proof and call it a troubling continuation of the Trump administration's targeting of Minnesota's Somali community.
So how is it that Trump is targeting the community because a YouTuber or a independent journalist went and did his research on him and they slammed the door in his face when he wanted to speak about getting his child in there? I'm confused. And when people are asking for their records, now they're saying the records have been broken into and stolen. So these people don't have no records. They don't even have a leg to stand on. But they'll sway these narratives, and CNN will put it out in their own way. And then other people won't go watch Fox, won't go watch other news stations, won't go watch Sky News Network, won't go watch the stations that will point out the fact that, hey, these people don't have paperwork. They don't have the credentials. Because if they did, this wouldn't even be a conversation. But this is sad, man. It's really sad. And this is alarming how these media pundits are getting this message out.
Who he publicly called garbage. CNN's Holmes Lebrand joins us now with more on this. Holmes, tell us a little bit more about what has been driving this investigation.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting investigation. It's actually pretty old. A lot of this began under President Joe Biden when they were investigating fraud claims related to COVID relief. So when we talk about a lot of this giant kind of fraud scheme that Director of the FBI, Kash Patel, also tweeted about, saying that there were 78 indictments so far, 57 convictions, as well as this dismantling of a $250 million fraud scheme. That is an older case than what we're now talking about with this new viral video. So this new viral video is trying to take past claims and kind of make these new claims. These new claims have not been investigated. In fact, Tiki Brown, the commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Children, said that these centers have been visited in the past 6 months and that none of those unannounced visits have turned out any fraud, but they are investigating these locations. But again, this is a kind of this past fraud that's still being investigated. In fact, prosecutors are now telling reporters that they're investigating new suspicious billing practices for 14 Medicare-funded programs in the state. So this is an ongoing investigation. It is clearly a lot of fraud that takes place, but that's very different than going door to door and making these accusations against specific facilities like these daycare centers that have not yet been backed up by officials.
Holmes Librarian, thank you so much for that. We spent a lot of time in court watching court sessions together over these many years. Thank you. I do appreciate seeing you now, and have a wonderful new year. Joining us now, CNN political analyst Jackie Kucinich and senior contributor at Axios, Margaret Talev. Thank you both for being here. Let's start with what's happening in Minnesota. Does this YouTuber's viral video simply kind of give the Trump administration another reason or cover for its crackdown against Somalis, whom Trump did call garbage, who said he wanted out of the country?
This is the guy who did the video, but somehow it's Trump's fault.
I will start with you, Margaret.
Well, it certainly is giving fuel to this argument, and I think it does demonstrate the sort of increasing power of the sort of creator, news adjacent creators in this space. We're seeing it all over the country, whether it's people who claim political neutrality or are aligned with one side or the other. But I think there's also a big political problem for Tim Walz. I mean, he's running for what would become a historic third four-year term in Minnesota. There's a lot of Republican interest in taking him on, including from figures like Mike Lindell. You can be sure if Tim Walz was the U.S. vice president right now at this moment, that this would be like one of the first, political scandals that he would be dealing with. So there are a lot of moving parts here. But I think for President Trump and the Trump administration, this effort to use this to make broader arguments about scaling back immigration, scaling back refugee status, does run up against this other issue of does he go too far when he makes those points? And in a state like Minnesota, which has been a blue state for quite some time, that's the big question. Will he take it too far? What's the sort of maximal pressure to put on Walz without jumping the shark?
Yeah, Jackie, I do want to talk to you a little bit more about Walz. I mean, there was a huge fraud case that was decided in a federal court where a jury convicted the leader and associate of a now defunct nonprofit. Prosecutors at the time in 2019 called it the nation's largest ever case of pandemic aid fraud. That case just ending in 2025. The head of that nonprofit is not Somali, but her associate was. I mean, how much damage has all of this done to Governor Tim Walz's prospects of potential higher office? Obviously, he is running again for governor, so that's one thing. But then if you look at the national picture as 2028 comes rolling around, what do you make of all this?
So I think you're right with particularly with the first point there. This is about his reelection campaign right now in 2026, and you know that Minnesota Republicans have.
I think he's going to do just fine. Just think about it. If everybody in the world know that this guy is giving out the dough, then everybody's going to vote for him. He's obviously, not that, I ain't going to say he's not that smart, but something is going on where he allows things to happen. So everybody's going to vote for this guy. I don't think he's going to leave. Why would they put him out of governor if he's giving out that type of money? He's going to win again. I think. But hey, I think I'm going to end it right here. These ladies, man, CNN seem biased to me. But that is my time. What's up, KJ? That is my time, man. I'm about to go back and lay it down. I done ate. Got my stomach full. Appreciate y'all listening to a bus for this hour and a half. But I'm about to lay it down. But y'all have a blessed night. Happy New Year to you guys again. Yeah, man. Y'all be safe. I'm gone.